What's up, everybody? This is MMA RANT, and I'm coming to y'all today with another video. But before I get started, I want to say thank you to all the subscribers. Thanks to everybody that's been leaving me thumbs up, leaving me comments, sharing my videos as well. And also, I want to let y'all know that in the description below, there's a link to my Facebook page. Hit me up on Facebook, send me a friend request so we can be friends on there. Like I said, I post videos close to real time as possible of UFC pay-per-views and UFC fight night cards. Also, I'm on my Facebook page as well, interacting with the friends on there and the followers and subscribers on YouTube about the fights. So again, hit me up in the description below, click on my link to my Facebook page, send me a friend request. And if you're listening right now, subscribe. Now on with the video. This video that I'm posting today has been reported that Conor McGregor was offered $10 million to show up and fight at UFC 200. Okay, now this was let out by John McCarthy last week on his Let's Get It On podcast. While he was talking, he was letting us know that basically he was in the back, behind scenes, behind the stage, behind the big fight at UFC 197 with the co-owner of the UFC, Lorenzo Fertitta. And basically, Lorenzo Fertitta said, hey, I don't understand how somebody in Conor McGregor that was guaranteed to make $10 million to show up and fight is giving me problems. Basically, this is a fighter that gets everything he wants all the time, and a fighter that we've paid the most money to ever in the history of the UFC. How is this man giving me problems, okay? Now, basically, Conor's last fight at UFC 196, when he lost to Nate Diaz, he made $1 million. That's just straight off the top. That's just the contract of $1 million to show up and fight Nate Diaz at 196, okay? Now, also, it's been known, and what's been going around, the word is that Dana White was not the one that actually pulled Conor McGregor from UFC 200. It was Lorenzo Fertitta that made that decision to say, hey, pull Conor's ass from the card for not wanting to show up and do his PR and media obligations. I believe Dana White really likes Conor McGregor, and I don't think if it was his decision or his choice, I believe he would have kept Conor on the card. He would have made some type of arrangements or agreements with Conor to not have to show up at those other two press conferences, but to show up at New York's press conference. So I feel like now, getting a clearer picture of what's going on, I definitely know now that the reason why, it's been speculated, but I guarantee this is the truth, because the reality is this. The Fertitta brothers are the mainframe guys that head the UFC. These are the guys that ultimately write the checks, okay? Dana White is more like, if you look at it in a sense, and I'm just using this as an example, Dana White's more like the muscle, more like the guy that interacts with the fighters, the guy that goes and promotes, the guy that looks for the fighters. You got to remember, Dana White went to these guys in the very beginning in the history of the UFC. He went to these guys, the Fertitta brothers, to, buy the UFC, and those guys agreed to do it. So they put up the money, or at least, if not all of it, most of the money to buy the UFC, okay? So those guys, ultimately, at the end of the day, those are the guys that have the say-so and makes the calls. As far as their relationship with the fighters, and as you can see by what he told John McCarthy, basically, hey, they're the guys that decide on the negotiations as far as the contracts, and they feel like the fighters should do what they need to do to uphold those contracts, and that's that. Now, Conor McGregor constantly says that it's not about the money, it's about the PR and media obligations. I believe that the Fertitta brothers aren't that in tune with what the fighters actually have to go through to promote these fights. Also, I've heard that in their contracts, PR and media obligations aren't included in the contracts. I believe the contracts are for fighting and fighting only. I just believe that the PR and media stuff is stuff that goes along with what they have to do to promote the fights. The fighters have to promote the fights. So I feel like that is something that they definitely need to look upon, and something they need to fix, during further times when it's time to negotiate these contracts with these fighters. You know, just like the NFL and them. Those guys get paid a contract to play the sport, and the NFL promotes the sport. The NFL promotes the players. And if the players do any other media obligations or anything like that, as far as commercials and endorsements and things like that, they get paid for that. So that's something that the UFC needs to definitely look into with the fighters. But also, like I said, Conor McGregor was set to make $10 million at UFC 200. Lorenzo Fertitta, as has been known, he was the one that pulled Conor from that card. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Hit me up in the comments. Share this video. Hit me with the thumbs up. I want to thank y'all again for listening. Let me know what y'all think about this, okay? And guess what? If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, y'all. And like always, until next time,